Welcome back, everyone, to another segment of the MCR Mac and Me. My name's TJ. In this segment, a couple events that occurred involving transgenderism in the past week. The first one involved the female fencer, Stephanie Turner, and she was in a women's tournament in Maryland. I believe it was referred to as the Cherry Blossom Open. Okay. And in this tournament, the the officials allowed a transgender male, female. I don't know. I don't even know how to refer to these people, really.
It was a man
It was,
competing in a woman's sport.
yep. Allowed her to compete. And this Stephanie had discovered this the night before. I don't know if she knew that she would be fencing against this individual, but I think she had made the determination the night before what she was going to do in the event that she faced this opponent.
I heard her say that it's part of her repertoire to check the roster of everyone there as part of just her game plan. She does that as its routine. So this wasn't a planned thing.
Okay. Anyways, she ended up facing this transgender male, and she kind of took the position that she would engage because they have like their attack stance or whatever. I don't know the terms.
Yeah.
Okay, but then she immediately took a knee, and which caught the transgender male off guard. The official asked what was going on, and she basically said, I am not going to compete against a man. The transgender said, "Are you okay?" And she replied, "I'm sorry. I have much love and respect for you, but I will not fence you." And the transgender, "Well, there is a member on the board of directors here who supports me, and there is a policy that acknowledges me as a woman, so I'm allowed to fence. And you will get black carded." Her response was, "I know." So the one official, if you watch the video, because there is a video of this brief exchange, the one official walks away. I guess he returns. She's still on her knee, and they give her a black card. And I guess what happens is, and not only did she, you could say that was like a forfeit. They kicked her out of the event.
Yeah, it's a disqualification, a black card. It's not that I'm any fencing expert.
Well, but it's beyond. It's beyond. She didn't just lose; they kicked her out of there.
Yeah, disqualification. She's out. It's an ejection, like in baseball or basketball or hockey.
They said the black card represents the most severe penalty, leading to expulsion from the tournament or event for serious rule infractions or unsportsmanlike conduct or behavior. So, because she took the knee, because she wasn't going to fence a man, she's being unsportsmanlike and has to be kicked out of the venue. And it just sucks. It just sucks.
Here's the thing, and I'm not going to side with the transgender guy, but he did play within the rules.
You know what? Yeah,
he did.
Sure did. He sure did. And but kudos to her for taking a stand, and
he didn't go off on her like so many of these nutters do.
Yeah.
Provided what we're hearing is
from
accurate.
What I read, it almost like he tried to talk her into getting up, and she wasn't getting up,
Yeah, I don't know what advantage a male has over. I know nothing about fencing, other than dealing in stolen goods. But I don't know what the physical attributes that a man has that a woman doesn't, or has lesser attributes in this particular sport. Some sports it's rather obvious. I mean, you're not going to have a female hockey player out there playing a Vladimir Konstantinov. I mean, they get killed. Or in football, they get killed. In basketball, they're just not good enough.
I don't know much about the sport either, but I did talk to someone over 40 years ago who kind of, I'll say, dabbled in it. And one of the things they do in preparing, or one of the exercises they do, is, you know how you kind of, using your body, you put your body into the figure of a chair with your back up against the wall, so that your thighs are, what, 45-degree angle or something. Am I making sense?
Yeah, I get it.
All right. That, if you do that for any even brief amount of time, you immediately begin to feel the thigh muscles burn. And this is done because in fencing, there's so much lunging. Okay.
Happens to me when I go get a coffee.
Okay. And it's because of these lungings that this one particular exercise, and this is what I was told 40 years ago. I'm assuming what the guy told me is accurate. And who knows, they may have changed this in 40 years. But it does appear that you need exceptionally strong thigh muscles to effectively lunge in the sport. Okay.
And chances are the bigger male is going to have the stronger legs and therefore have an advantage. I get it now.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So, and that's how much I know about the sport. Okay.
Well, you know more than me.
So, anyways, she took a stand, and now she's the bad guy. She's the unsportsman person. She has to be tarred and feathered and dragged away.
It's
whatever.
her right to have done this.
Yep.
And there was a consequence, and she suffered it.
Okay.
And I'm sure she's fine with it.
On to the second topic here, the second event in Colorado. Okay. The Colorado State House of Representatives has passed HB 25-1312. So it's waiting on the state Senate for approval. If this passes the state Senate, then it will go to the governor. And if the governor signs it, then this will become law. Now, what am I talking about? It's basically, if a parent does not facilitate transgender, we'll say, affirming care, or however they phrase it, it can be equated to abuse, parental abuse. In other words, if you have a boy, and you say, and the boy says, I think I'm a girl, and the parents do not facilitate the transition, per this HB 25-1312, that failure to take action could be considered abuse by the state. Oh,
yeah, this is going to court. That's blatantly unconstitutional. They're usurping the parental rights. They have no right to do that. This just goes to what Democrats are. They think your child belongs to the state.
Yeah, the author of this article equated it to erosion of parental rights, going to what you just said. Part of this their definition of abuse includes, and I had heard this a time or two before, but I'm going to bring it up now, the term dead naming. Okay, have you ever heard of dead naming, Mac?
No.
Okay, well, it's they've got a boy, and the boy's name is Tom, and Tom wants to become a girl. Tom wants to become Thomasina, but the parents still call him Tom instead of Thomasina. Well, that's dead naming, because the parents, through malicious
failure to participate in their mental illness is a bad thing.
Yes. Per HB 25-1312 in the state of Colorado. And like I said, if the Senate passes this, it's going to go to the governor. They're pretty certain that if it passes the Senate, the governor will sign on to this.
Well, that's a libtard state, even worse than Michigan, I'll tell you.
Well, again, you're kind of swerving to my point. This is what happens when you have a cannabis state out of control. In the state of Colorado, you can buy marijuana about as easily, if not easier, than a pack of cigarettes. This state's whacked out, you know.
Well, no question about that.
And any state that is just fine and dandy with cannabis, in my opinion, is now capable of anything. And I know that's off topic, but I guess what I'm saying is, you know, this is their mindset. This is where they're at. This is where it leads to, you know.
Well, they very seldom think of the consequences of what they do. And I always like to think, where else could this lead? Now, if your kid doesn't think that your kid thinks they're a cat, which we've all heard the story of schools who put litter boxes in and let these kids take a dump in it in front of the other kids because, well, they're a cat and we need to treat them like a cat. Are they going to take your kid away from you or charge you with a crime if you don't let your kid act like a cat? I mean, where else is this going? Leave us a comment in the comment section where you think it might go, because it's going elsewhere, because all of their goofy programs and laws do exactly that.
I just, as I was reading about this Colorado HB 25-1312, I says, wait a minute, aren't they all goofy about marijuana? Kush, as some of them say on the street. And I did some quick research. I said, holy cow. I said, but it does involve a warped state of mind,
Altered,
it's
certainly.
Altered for sure.
Hey, to be accurate and fair, there are plenty of conservatives who love their weed too.
Well, shame on them, I say.
Or as in the Detroit area, they say they weed. They got to get weed.
Within a mile and a half of my house, we've got, and my wife and I were counting them the other day, we may have as many as 8 legitimate weed establishments within a mile and a half of where I live. This is just out of control. And of course, we got wacky stuff happening here in the state of Michigan, with Whitmer and Dana Nessel and Benson.
Yeah.
It just, I guess that's why, get them high so they'll do stupid stuff. I don't know, man. That's all I can figure. But anyways, off topic, but let's bring this to a close. Thanks everyone for your support. And we'll catch you all in the next segment. As always, be safe, watch your 6, and don't tread on me.